A local CHP commander is dead, and you've likely seen the headlines by now. Yuba Sutter area CHP commander Julie Harding was found dead over the weekend in Tennessee. For the past 24 hours, our newsroom has been working around the clock to bring you the facts about what happened. And we've been on the phone with law enforcement across the country. Our investigative reporters have been searching for court documents. Our photojournalist was even down at the Sacramento courthouse today just to get you information. So what have we learned over the past 24 hours? Julie Harding, she was going through a divorce. She was recently arrested for criminal trespassing at her ex-husband's girlfriend's house. Her ex is also dead. Another man has been arrested for his death, and it all connects back right here to Northern California. And we really wouldn't know any of this if it was not for local journalists building trust in their communities. Tonight, you are going to hear from a reporter with Appeal Democrat, a publication in the Yuba Sutter area, who first broke this story. But first, here's Becca Habegger with what we know so far.
Michael and Julie Harding got married in January of 2019. Court documents show they separated back in May of this year. 4 months later, on September 23rd, Michael Harding went missing. At this point, he was living in Salina, Tennessee. 3 days later, on September 26th, Michael Harding was found dead with gunshot wounds in a house in Cumberland County, Kentucky, about half an hour from Salina, Tennessee. 2 weeks later, on October 10th, Michael Harding's girlfriend, Natasha Davis, filed a police report saying Julie Harding had trespassed on her property in Murfreesboro, Tennessee, where Davis lives. ABC 10 obtained this Ring camera video from the alleged incident. Davis says Julie Harding took a dog Julie and Michael Harding had owned together. 3 days later, on October 13th, Natasha Davis filed another police report saying Julie Harding was harassing her. Davis said her Netflix account had been hacked and her family accounts deleted. In their place was one account for Davis with a photo of a monkey and another account named Julie with a photo of an angry princess. All during this time, law enforcement officers in Kentucky and Tennessee were investigating Michael Harding's death. For context, Davis's home is in Murfreesboro, a 2-hour drive from Michael Harding's home in Salina, and Michael Harding was found dead up in Cumberland County, Kentucky, just across the state line. That leads us to December 8th, this past Thursday, when two key developments happened. First, law enforcement arrested a man named Thomas O'Donnell at the Sacramento International Airport, charging him with the murder of Michael Harding. Court documents show he'll be extradited back to Kentucky to face his charge there. But as of Wednesday afternoon, O'Donnell was still shown as in the custody of the Sacramento County Sheriff's Office. We're working to learn more about O'Donnell and any connection he may have had to the Hardings. The same day in Tennessee, Julie Harding was arrested for criminal trespassing on Natasha Davis's property. She was released that same day. 2 days later, this past Saturday, Julie Harding was found dead in Tennessee. Law enforcement says there was no foul play. CHP also tells us Harding was on leave at the time of her death. Harding joined CHP in 1999 and had been a commander for CHP's Yuba Sutter area since 2018, the CHP told ABC 10.
Feel bad for his kids, his grandkids, and his mom.
Preston Cleary was a friend of Michael Harding's. He says he believes Julie Harding hired O'Donnell to kill Michael Harding.
And we all believe that she had Mike murdered, hired a guy to have Mike murdered, that he wouldn't know, that he wouldn't suspect.
We asked former Sacramento County Sheriff John McGinnis to weigh in on this case.
I absolutely see this as consistent with a murder for hire. I'm not in a position, obviously, to have reviewed all the evidence and draw a conclusion to that end. But I think as part of what has to be eliminated as a possibility.
And two others who spoke with the Appeal Democrat today say that they don't believe that Julie Harding would kill her ex-husband, Michael. They say any accusation that she's behind her estranged husband's death just doesn't ring true to them. But I want to go ahead and bring in Laura Painter because this story, it was really told through local journalism. And you spoke with the reporter who broke this story.
Yeah, Alex, it was a really interesting conversation. Today, I talked one-on-one with reporter Robert Suma. He's an editor at the Appeal Democrat. That's a newspaper, as you mentioned, in Yuba County. We pull back the curtain on what it takes to uncover stories like this and the importance of building trust in our community.
I did everything I could to assimilate myself within the community.
Robert Suma, editor of the Appeal Democrat in Yuba County, has been a journalist for more than 2 decades. He used that experience to build relationships and connect the dots to break this story involving the death of a CHP commander who worked out of Yuba County.
This story was basically a culmination of all of that.
The death of 49-year-old Julie Harding and her ex-husband, Michael Harding, has so many angles and multiple people surrounding it.
It was the first tip I got about it was from a source and a person that is part of those relationships that I fostered. They got to know me, they got to trust me, they knew they could trust me with this information, and they wanted me to write about it.
He started from scratch, making a lot of phone calls and hoping they lead to something.
I knew the basics of the situation. I knew that last week, and I kind of started the process of reaching out to different people. Over the weekend, I get a call from that same source that initially tipped me off that Julie Harding possibly killed herself.
Now tell us, Robert, about how you connected the dots. We have California, Kentucky, Tennessee, so many different law enforcement agencies. How did you piece this all together, especially as you're trying to confirm a lot of essential facts?
That was the confusing part, is that there was nothing else to go off of. A source or a piece of information would lead me somewhere, and then I would just look up, how do I contact these people? And then I would contact them. And then that piece of information would lead me somewhere else.
Robert is serious about protecting his sources. He says he won't even tell his wife who they are.
So, Robert, talk to us about the importance of building trust with your sources.
I want the community to know that, and people that want to, speak about something that's happening, that they can trust me and they can come to me. And that is incredibly important, not to break people's trust.
Robert says part of building that trust is confirming facts and reporting what we know is true, not rumors.
There's a lot of stuff that we know that we just can't talk about because we were told in confidence, and we want to build those relationships. And there are going to be times where those relationships are going to pay off, such as this story about the CHP commander. That was completely because of the trust that I built with people in the community and leaders and officials.
Right, and Alex, as we know, this story doesn't end here. We really are just scratching the surface, really just getting started. And I got to say that when I had this conversation with Robert, I really enjoyed it. Journalist to journalist, talking about our craft and how we build that trust. And of course, here at ABC 10, we can't stress enough how important and how seriously we take the importance of building trust in our community.
Oh, absolutely. And I want to recognize that local newspapers, they bring so much to our communities, and really are the backbone and watchdog that even we as broadcast journalists rely on. So please, 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 please support your local newspaper. Of course, we will have updates on this story on Late News Tonight at 11 and on abc10.com. Laura, thank you so much. We really appreciate you being here.